Good morning, everyone. It is Health Wednesday, and this is the day that Yvette talks about health and relates it to the mindset as well. So I am here with the amazingly beautiful Yvette.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning.
Happy Health Wednesday.
Happy Health Wednesday. So what are we going to talk about today?
Actually, today we actually had a request yesterday from somebody who was watching, and they were asking us to talk about like what we eat on a daily basis.
Right, which is interesting.
Yeah.
I don't know why one of the things that he said is like he feels like for our age, we
Good
look
job.
like we're in good shape or look healthy. So he wanted to know, like, what is it that we do? What do we eat on a daily basis? So what is the choice that we've made?
Well, I have made the choice 4 years ago to become plant based. I know you've been doing it for much longer.
Yeah, for a very, very, very long time.
Yeah. I mean, my choice to do it was for health reasons at first because, I suffered from IBS for a long time, which a conventional doctor doesn't really go in deep and realize that it's caused by the food we eat and it's caused by the fried food, the processed food. So once I made that link, my life has been so much better.
Yeah.
So, in the mornings, I mean, listen, our diet is not fun.
Wait, before you jump into that, I just want to talk about what
Yeah.
Yvette just said. She had IBS for 20 plus years.
More.
30.
Yeah.
30 plus years. She went to the doctor all the time. The doctors wanted to cut out a piece of her intestine.
Yeah.
They wanted to put her on all kinds of medication. They wanted to do a million different things. And guess what? None of that stuff worked. So what did work, was
Well, it was a combination.
yeah.
Well, I mean, food was the main thing that turned it around, but it was between the stress level, the food, and meditating. But the food was a big one. And it's funny when we talk about food because lately I've been having another like health issue. And when I was talking to a doctor the other day, I was so frustrated Monday because she was like, oh, turning it back to the gut. And this is not a gut doctor. So she has no idea about the gut. And then I was telling her about my history. She goes, oh, maybe it's the gut. And I said, well, no, I cured my IBS. She just wanted to bypass it because a conventional doctor doesn't believe in that. They don't really believe in that link like a functional doctor would. So for me, I then said to Mike, you know what? I need to then now go back to basics and really, really look at what have I been eating since the end of August. Because let's say, guys, I will be very honest that at times, out there are, these vegan options for treats and stuff. Those things are not healthier than the regular version.
Yeah, that's a great point. You can have, there's a big difference between being plant-based and being vegan. You can be vegan and eat, all kinds of chocolate that doesn't have milk or dairy in it.
Yeah.
You can have all kinds of like sugary snacks, that don't have any kind of dairy in it. And you can really eat in a very non-healthy way and be considered vegan. When you're plant-based, when you're focused mostly on eating, salads and things that don't have labels on them, real food,
Yeah.
which has real nutrients. And if you think about it, right, the cells that make up our body, they need nutrition, and the nutrition comes from the plants. The most densely nutrition-based foods are plant-based. So when we eat that, our cells get taken care of, and our body thrives, and the inflammation is low.
Well, that's the thing, too, that we're keeping at bay so many diseases because you're eating plant-based. When we get into these traps is when we start the sugars. Sugar causes so many diseases. One in particular is cancer. I mean, the link between sugar and cancer is very
100%.
high. Sugar and processed food, more than ever in our country, our food is so processed. We have so many GMOs in our food. So that was a big reason why I became plant-based. Was because of all that. Because when your body starts, giving you signs, you need to start looking at why is my body feeling this way, And a lot of times when you go to a functional doctor, what are they talking about? It's your food.
Yeah, and I think also like if you look at so Yvette and I'm next year I'm 50 years old. But when
Oh,
I
I'm not
tell
there yet.
we're getting close. We're getting close, right?
You're
But the
closer than I.
that's right. But the whole point of that is I've been eating this way for a long time, and I truly attribute that to, my overall health and my overall youth, maintaining the youth and youthful look. I really believe from my heart that it's got a lot to do with what I put into my body. I don't eat sugar. I'm like hardcore. I
Mm.
don't eat any sugar. Literally, no cake, ice cream, nothing. I eat very healthy, very, again, plant based. But I truly believe that that is what keeps me, kind of looking and feeling this way. And, when I compare myself to some other people that are my age, if you look at the difference, it's a huge difference. And I swear, if they just shifted what they're eating, they would see a major difference, in my opinion.
Oh,
Yeah.
absolutely. Because when, it's funny because when they're asking you go to the doctor, they look at you like you're weird because she's like, do you smoke? Do you drink? Do you do drugs? And I'm like, I don't do any of the above because I also don't eat sugar.
Right.
And she looked at me the other day, the nurse, as though I had 10 heads. She goes, really? I said, no. And then the doctor looked at my age. She goes, wow, you don't look your age. And I said to her, it's because I only eat plants. So, in saying that, I mean, our diet, when we go out to eat with people, especially I would say my kids find it frustrating to eat out with us because they say we are no fun. But you know what? When I look at it, I know that whatever we're eating, if it's a salad, with, whatever it is, I know I'm not going to come home and be sick.
Yeah, that's a great point, right?
Yeah.
So we go out to dinner with the kids. They eat like all kinds of stuff, chicken wings with hot sauce and all kinds of stuff. And we eat our regular stuff, our plant-based, and they come home and they're having diarrhea and having terrible pains in their stomach. Some are vomiting sometimes, and we're not
Yeah.
because we're eating healthy foods that are it's like putting peanut butter in your gas tank of your car and hoping that it's going to run well. It just won't because that's not what's meant to be in the car.
Yeah.
Um, so
Because you know what? I mean, this we can go into many, many episodes on this because I really specialize in gut health, the microbiome. I mean, there's all these little organisms that live in your stomach. And if this goes out of balance because we're eating so much processed foods, that's when we start getting sick.
exactly.
And it's such a new science that the conventional doctors are not there yet. And when I tell you, when I put two and two together, it has made such a difference in my life that in the past 4 years, I have not been sick with my IBS issues.
No.
And now, with what I'm going through now, I am pinpointing what am I eating? What have I added? And you want to know something? Some of these vegan things I have added to my diet just because they're a little more convenient. And guess what? They're not healthier. So it's just like, okay, well, that's made out of gluten. I know I shouldn't be eating gluten. So that right there needs to, come out of the diet.
So let's answer the question real quick. What do we typically eat on a daily basis? So one, we both normally start out, and I'll pull it up so you can see, but it's this protein powder, which the great thing about it is it's organic and it's raw and it's 100% vegetables in there. And you say to yourself, well, if it's got 100% vegetables, how can you get protein? Well, I put 2 scoops in there, and the 2 scoops equals 40 grams of protein, which is almost the entire day's worth of protein that is needed. That's without eating any other meals. So just 2 scoops of that. First of all, it's giving me the most amazing nutrients because it's all plant-based, it's organic, and it's raw. So none of it's ever been cooked. And so there's a simple way, even if you just wanted to replace one meal a day with something that's really healthy.
Yeah.
This protein powder is unbelievable, and if you look at the ingredients that are in there, you'll be blown away because it has fruits, vegetables, all kinds of seeds, and I think nuts too, and it's got all kinds of really great things. But again, 40 grams of protein in 2 scoops, which is almost more than you need for the entire day.
Absolutely.
So when you say, you're vegan or you're plant-based, how do you get enough protein? Well, there it is.
Yeah.
We just got protein just from that one thing
Well,
alone.
we also, where you put everything in the kitchens, but the kitchen sink in there.
That's
I mean,
true.
you have a lot of other things that go in there. That's why, I mean, I use I like chocolate, so I'll use the one that has chocolate, which they use cacao in it.
Right.
It is like drinking a chocolate milkshake.
But it's super healthy.
Oh, so healthy.
Super healthy.
Sometimes when I'm drinking it, I'm like super, super happy in the morning. I'll put a frozen banana in there, a small frozen banana. And then I have this powder that has lion's mane and ashwagandha to give me more energy in the morning. So that brings me then to like my morning snack that I'll have like some fruit and maybe a handful of almonds.
Yeah, exactly. Whatever you can have. There's tons of healthy snacks you can have. You can have nuts. You can have hummus. Like if you like hummus, have some hummus with carrots or some other vegetable, celery. But then this is kind of our lunch, right? We have all these amazing colors and salads, in our salads, and all of those are unbelievably healthy. They're going right to the cells of your body, and they're helping to repair and keep them super healthy. So, and then, and what do we typically have for dinner? Like a stew, like.
I mean, last night I made dinner for tonight, and so I made a sweet potato red lentil stew, and it's all, there's nothing bad in there. There's just onions, red lentils, legumes are very good for you because they're also high in, they have protein. So a lot of times people say, well, how do you guys get your protein since you don't eat meat?
I love
that. You got to remember this, that, gorillas and animals that are living in the wild, what are these guys eating? They're herbivores. They are not carnivores. So we get it from our greens, but also, organic tofu. We get it from quinoa. I love quinoa. And we do a lot of like salads and stuff that I'll mix spinach and other things into the quinoa. But the stew that I made for today has sweet potato. It has turmeric that is it helps with inflammation. So I add a lot of things in there. If you put cinnamon in the stuff, it was very warming fall stew. And it will help, lower any kind of inflammation.
Yeah, one last thing and by the way, it tastes amazing. It tastes amazing. To me, it's way better than eating a hamburger or, something like that. But that's just me.
Well, another thing, speaking of hamburgers, now they do have options for us to have burgers. But be careful, guys, because we investigated. Because after we've had these Beyond Burger, Impossible Burger, I wasn't feeling so great. Yeah. So then, there's some ingredients in there that are not so great for us. So remember, just because it is not real meat, you think, okay, it's a better option. A lot of times it's not. It's just as bad as the real version.
Good rule of thumb, if Burger King or McDonald's is serving it, it's probably not the best thing for you to be eating. Or White Castle, right? It's probably not the highest quality food. And it's probably got ingredients in there that aren't so good for you. Last thing that I want to just touch on, and then we've been on longer than normal, but we're really passionate. I mean, I think we could talk hours about this topic. But this one thing, if you just do this one thing, and you do this, cut out all dairy, and here's why. Think about this for a second. Think about this. A baby calf drinks milk until it's a certain age, and then after that it doesn't drink the milk from its mother anymore, right? When we're babies, we drink our mother's milk for a period of time, and then we stop and we no longer need that milk. Why in the world would we be drinking the milk of a cow? First of all, the milk of a cow is for a calf. It's not for a human. And plus, it's for a calf when it's a baby, not when it's an adult. We're taking in all kinds of hormones and things that shouldn't be going into our body, and especially now what they're doing to the cows, and they're putting antibiotics and all kinds of things in there. Even if you get organic milk,
it's still getting in there.
It's not, it causes all kinds of inflammation in the body. So if you just take that one thing away, cheese, milk, you take dairy off the table and do it for like a month, you'll see a huge difference in overall how you're feeling, because that alone is just so not good for you.
It's a major trigger, dairy.
Major trigger. So
Major.
anyway, we're going to rock and roll because it's 15 minutes. Thanks for hanging in there with us. We'll talk more about this as we continue to go on Wednesdays. And again, the reason we bring this up is because if all the blood from digestion is in your stomach, guess where it's not? In your mind, in your brain, and it allows you to not function as well as you would if you're eating foods that digest easily, that have the nutrition, that are feeding your brain, that are feeding your gut, that are feeding your overall health. So that said, yep, here we go. Jamie says, that's the second time I heard you say White Castle. It must be a favorite. Is it a favorite?
And now, you know what? Back in the day in Brooklyn, there was one nearby. The kids would eat it once a year. But it is scary when White Castle had that burger before anybody else had it. So, we have to really think to ourselves, if they have it, is it the healthiest thing for me to eat? No.
Nah, it's probably not. But listen, you guys are doing great. The thing is, most of the time we're not educated on this stuff. We just don't know. We don't know. So we just do what we've always done, which is we just eat the foods and we assume that everything's okay. It's just a matter of learning and understanding and just getting some knowledge in the area. And that's kind of what we both did. We started learning very slowly, and it led to where we are right now. So that's it. Deb, good to see you here. And I'm glad you enjoyed it. We enjoy all of you. We love you. We appreciate you. And
yeah, we have fun educating you guys. I mean, it's fun.
It helps us too. It helps us educate ourselves, right, which is awesome. So that's it. Let us know. Comment below. What do you do to take care of your health with food? Do you eat a certain way? Do you take certain things out of your diet? Are you on a diet? Tell us what you're doing. We'd love to hear. That's it. Have a great day. We're going to the gym. See ya.